Hey guys, it's Ryan Hopkins from Soho Strength Lab. We're here in the gym today. I want to take you through a lateral change of direction session. We'll go through a warm-up, the individual drills and some of the finer coaching points, and then you can get to it. Okay guys, we've done our specific warm-up. Now we're going to go into some real good prep. So what I'm going to do is go through one of my favorite drills. It's a 5-cone stability touch. I like this because it lets us warm up our feet, our ankles, our lower legs and our upper legs with a bunch of different rotational combinations. Go through this and bias either knees or hips. So I can go through it and I can go, really a lot of knee bending, or I can go through a lot of hip hinging. Right? So it's really whatever you want to do it for. So let me take you through it. I'm going to start on my left hand and my left foot. I'm going to go down. I'm going to do a more knee dominant one. So I'm going to flex my ankle a pretty good amount. I'm going to touch. I'm going to come back up. I'm trying not to let this stuff move too much as I go through. All right, and then I'm just going to get in a little rhythm. When I have to turn and rotate, I'm going to sit down, let my ankle flex, sit into my hip. Again, getting all those little rotational combinations. All right, going through my left side, I'm going to switch hands. So I'm coming back on my right. Take your time, guys, with the 5 cones. This is about a minute in duration, so don't forget that when you're doing it. All right, it's kind of a longer drill, so you may get a little burn, but that's okay. All right, 5-cone stability test. Let's get it out of here. Okay, so we've gone through our cone drill. We're gonna go now to something that's getting very specific, right? So this is a lateral shuffle drill. We've got a banded shoulder. So why do I have a banded shoulder? When we change directions and there's a lot of speed and momentum, a lot of times we get kind of a shoulder dump or a torso sway or something like that. So this is really on there more to remind your body what we've got to resist. So it's more of positioning, but there is a little bit of a resistance aspect. I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to start in the front like this. So I'm going over my shoulder. I want my band running on from like kind of a low angle, so it's pulling me down, right? I'm going to do 1-step lateral shuffle. I'm going to plant and I'm going to come back, and I don't want to let the band make me go like this. So I'm just resisting, right? Here, I shuffle. Okay, so that's one way you can do it. If we want to go, this is the forward dump. If I want to work on the backwards, so we'll do like this, just like a little jacket. Put it around the back there. And now this is going to pull me this way, right? So a little anti-rotation the other direction. So I shuffle here. Right? And I keep my torso and my shoulder girdle nice and square. That's all we're working on. Okay, so now we're ready to move, okay? We're going to do some skipping because a lot of our drills are going to end with a sprint or a linear acceleration. So we want to do some basic linear acceleration prep. All I'm going to do, guys, is just a basic skip. I'd say it's a skip for distance, really more than an A skip, but just a good skip pushing that way. So I'll start like this. Now come back down. So you can see, like, I'm not trying to keep it super sharp. I'm not trying to do anything super specific. I'm just trying to get a really good horizontal push. A lot of the lateral change of direction into the linear acceleration is just a big hard projection of your body in the direction you're trying to go, okay? So that's our skip. The next one I like to do is a really easy warm-up series for hip and trunk dissociation, but it also incorporates your head. A lot of times when we're playing sports, we're looking and changing directions and our head's all over the place. So that's what we're gonna do. It's a 180 run. I'm gonna jog. I'm gonna turn my shoulder girdle and my hips. I'm gonna keep my head looking down. And then I'm gonna bring it back. Then I'm just gonna do a 180 and go back that way. So it looks like this. Easy jog. Shoulders to this. Head turns. Back around. And then I'll return it, going the opposite direction. Head, shoulders, hips. And then I'm coming back. Okay? If you want, you can pick a line, you know, say an invisible line on the floor, and try to hold it like that to determine like how much body control do you actually have. We want to be linear, right, while rotating. The last one is going to be the lateral speed continuum. Now we're actually seeing the components of lateral acceleration put together, okay? So I'll start with a shuffle, which is going to be the slowest of the lateral acceleration components. I'll go into a crossover run, okay? And then I'm going to turn and sprint. The whole thing happens from the idea that I'm a defender, I'm covering someone, they start to accelerate, I'm still moving laterally, and as they accelerate further, I have to shift into different components. So here we go, right? Lateral shuffle, easy. Slowest of the three. Crossover run, and then a sprint. Okay, so we'll go a little faster. Look like this, shuffle, cross it over, and then sprint. Okay? That's a really meaningful drill to hammer those components. Generally, people start to get the idea of accelerating from that shuffle, and then it really translates well into the drills we're going to go into now. Okay, so we're going to start working on the real change of direction stuff, okay? The big thing to know about this is it's not always 180 degrees. We're not always shuffling, we're not always moving directly to the side. A lot of it's angular, so that looks like a cut, right? So cuts are things that we can rehearse. The big things that we're going to work on with our drill is going to be the plant angle of my foot. So if I have a cone, I want to make sure I'm planting my foot and pointing basically directly at the cone. So this is a very slow moving cut ladder where we get a bunch of different chances to perfect that cut. Just so you know how I set it up, each one of these is on a 45-degree angle, 8 steps apart. Okay, so when you're setting up your own cones, that's kind of what I do. You can do 6 to 8 cones. I have 7. Alright, so what I'm going to do is 45-degree angle cut. I'm going to start and aim at the cone. I'm going to approach it. I'm going to plant my foot nice and square. Bang, next cone. Okay, so each one is planted exactly the same. I'm moving at an easy pace. I make sure that I drop my body position a little bit, just for kind of patterning purposes. That's the deal with that one. The next one that we're going to go into is going to be, it's a directional step to a lateral shuffle. So why do we do a directional step or a plyometric step? Because I need to be able to reposition my body to move. So all I'm going to do is start an athletic ready. I'm going to pop my feet. I'm going to do my directional step. All that is a repositioning and a pop off of my foot. So I'm here. So I'll just do 40 each side here. Okay, that's all that it is. That's our directional step. Now we take this into our shuttle slalom. Okay, because that's a very transferable skill. And we do that every time we redirect our body around the cones. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle. When I get to the next cone, I'm going to redirect my body, do my directional step, and then get around the next cone. So I'm here, shuffle, shuffle, here's my directional step. Okay? So you can see where that skill comes into play. You can see where I'm kind of moving that foot out, getting a wider plant, and then opening my hips to get around the next cone. Okay, so a big note about the shuttle slalom is that you can play with the angles. So if you have a newer person, you don't want to give them a super sharp cut. You want to give them a chance to kind of work on body control and redirecting their body. So I have them kind of staggered where the cut's not a hard angle. You can make it so that it's a really sharp, almost, you know, a total 180-degree cut. So just something to think about when you're laying your cones out. All right, guys, so we've gone through a couple of these drills now. We're going to do one more little mini prep to pattern stuff. It's very important that you pattern this stuff before you go put it into a big drill so that you're rehearsing the components well, right? We're trying to make improvement in your skills when it comes to lateral change of direction. So you want to rehearse it, right? The next one is going to feature our directional step again, but we're going to do the crossover run. So a crossover run or a lateral run step is really just here. I'm gonna get into my sprint stance early, and then I'm gonna take a sprint step, right? So we're gonna do a directional step with our crossover run step, just kind of like, a couple reps back and forth. So we'll be here, athletic, ready, all right? I'm gonna pop and do a directional step, and then my crossover. Here, I'm gonna pop again. Here. All right, so a big thing is my torso is still aimed forward again, like I'm defending somebody. My lower body is running this way, okay? Big deal in all these drills is the hip and trunk association. What's the drill? Our drill is true change of direction now with some speed. So we're gonna go 5-yard lateral shuffle, stop at the cone, and then sprint down. So then you'll see our turn into our crossover step, right? So I'm gonna go on my cone, shuffle 5, hit it, right on down the floor. Here we go. Shuffle, plant, push. Okay. We'll go one more time for you. So we're here, shuffle, hit it, and I crossover run. Okay? Pretty easy. You can see how we put it together. You can see why we take some time there to get that right, so you can kill the drill. Okay guys, we're coming into the tail end of this lateral change of direction session. What we're gonna finish with is the hardest drill because it's got the most speed, so you're carrying the most momentum into your change of direction. It's an 8-yard crossover run with a change of direction times 2. Okay, so I'm gonna 8-yard crossover run, hit the cone, 8-yard crossover run back to my starting cone, finito, okay? So I'll start here, crossover run, get to the cone, crossover run, and then finish, okay? You can go through that 2 to 4 times, however you want to do it. But yeah, that's where we would finish. You can see we're putting all of the components together, and hopefully the skills transfer from one to the other. Guys, give this stuff a shot. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to help out. That's it. Thanks for coming.